Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to our 2017 DARE graduation ceremony here at Brewton Middle School. Before we begin, I always like to take just a few moments to thank some people that are instrumental in helping have the DARE program here. Dr. Kenneth Marner, who's superintendent at Brewton City School System. I'd like to thank Madeline Cave, our principal here, Ms. Leah Fuquay, our assistant principal, and also to Rhonda Adams and Vicki Madden, who are my teachers in the DARE class, and they helped me tremendously, especially when I get started off in the year, trying to help keep 80-something fifth graders quiet. I'm not really adept at all this teaching yet. Hopefully I will be one day, but they teach me how to keep them in line and make sure when I ask a question I don't have 80 different answers coming at me at one time. Also, I'd like to thank those members of the Brewton Police Department that are here today with us. If it wasn't for them seeing something in me and asking me if I'd like to do this as part of my career as a police officer, and I'm glad that they did. I'd like to thank Lieutenant Brock Holt, Sergeant Josh Stanley. I'd like to thank Lieutenant Rodney Brand, who works here at the school as a resource officer, Sergeant Patrick Kaler, Brian Wesley, Officer Matt Jordan, Andy Casey, Janet Hartzell, and Valerie Havard, who printed all my paperwork here, and also to Chief McGugan. Let's give them a round of applause. I'd also like to thank Melanie McGugan and Randy down at Just Do. Randy prints all our t-shirts every year, does a wonderful job getting them for us. And also to my DARE mentors, we got Henry Davis, Jared Baker, Jordan Williams, and Ivory Johnson. Y'all would give them a hand. And lastly, to all the family and friends who've come to support your children, our students here, we want to say thank you. Since we started in August of this school year, I, along with your children, have been an important mission together. We held open discussions all year long about the negative effects of drugs and alcohol on their bodies. DARE stands for Drug Abuse Resistance Education, and that's exactly what we've talked about for the last 10 months. Drugs and alcohol tend to be big subjects for these students to wrap their minds around, but in their class workbooks, DARE also stood for Define, Assess, Respond, and Evaluate. First thing I asked the students to do was to determine whether there was a problem, a challenge, or opportunity. The second thing I asked them to do was to assess the situation. What are their choices? What can they make to make the best decision there is? And also, there's to respond. They make a choice. And the last thing I asked them to do was to evaluate their choice. Once everything is said and done, did they make a good choice? The biggest obstacle, I think, that I have to overcome this past year when starting in the DARE class is to gain the trust of your students. Each year, I do have a number of outspoken students. You guys know who you are, ones that I don't have to call on. They really like to talk. But most of my students, I really have to kind of bring them out of their shell. Some of them are shy. Some of them are kind of nervous around police officers. And that's one thing that I try to alleviate, is I try to make them feel comfortable around police officers. Because the last thing I want to do is, if they have an issue out here, is for them to not feel like they're comfortable enough to call on myself or call on my fellow officers to help them out. Above anything, it is my sincere hope that as a police officer, I can gain their trust, we can gain their trust, and show them that as a police officer, our first job is not only to protect them, but is to help them and serve them wherever they are in whatever situation they may be in. When I see students outside the classroom and they call my name or say, "Hello, Officer Madison," it kind of gives me hope that I'm doing my job. I was in Walmart the other day and I had somebody call my name. It was one of my former students. So It lets me know that they remember me, that maybe I've said or done something that's helped them, and that's what we want to do. Not just myself, but with all these gentlemen sitting over here. We want to help these students now, we want to help them down the road, whether it's next year in 6th grade or when they're seniors. We want to develop a trusting relationship with them, and sometimes that's hard to do because the public sometimes casts a negative light on us, or sometimes there's other officers that do that for us, and we're trying to alleviate that. We try to treat everybody with the same respect that we would want to be treated with, and we want them to trust in us. And that's why we're here today. We want to show our students that we support them. DARE started in 1982 in the city of Los Angeles. Chief of Police Darrell Gates started a program that he felt was necessary to create a positive impact on the lives of our students, and it teaches them about the negative effects of alcohol and drugs. Also teaches them the harmful effects of bullying. In 10 months, these students have learned that bullying is an epidemic that we can all deal with and that we can do something about. We don't have to be bystanders. They also learn that a drug is anything other than food that can affect the way their mind and body work. They learn that each year in the United States, over 400,000 people die from tobacco-related causes and over 75,000 from alcohol-related deaths. Those numbers are staggering, and I hope that it gives these students a cause for concern and realize that there's no place for drugs and alcohol in their lives. Now, there's a lot of things that today's society can offer these students, and if it's drugs, we want to equip them to say no. Bottom line, drugs and alcohol destroy lives. It is with a strong commitment that I, along with the backing of the police department, the school system, and these teachers here, and we have every intention of educating and guiding these students toward a drug-free attitude and lifestyle. This upcoming fall will be my 6th year of teaching DARE program, and I believe it's a great opportunity for me to grow as a police officer, as a citizen in this community, and to help these students make good choices. I believe to have the biggest impact on their lives is what we want to accomplish. We also have placed importance upon making safe and responsible choices in life. And then finally, it's my hope that your children gain a valuable education here at Brewton City School System, and that they treat each other with respect and dignity, and that one day we look forward to them making a difference in their community. And with that being said, we'll have our ceremony for our certificates.
Preston Barnes. And we can hold our applause till the very end. Olivia Beasley. Riley Bodiford. Alex Brooks. Ashton Carter. Elise Carden. Gunnar Cole. Jacob Davenport. Trayvon Dees. Jackson Fillmore. Jonathan Flores. Kamari Fountain. Araceli Franco. River Harrison. Landon Madison. Jaden Pham. John Wesley Sessions. Bethany Simmons. Elijah Suarez. Riley Searles. Sakai Askew. Peyton Bowling. Makai Cash. Alasia Dees. Connor Gorham. Denise Jones. Jordan Jones. Trent McGugan. Ellie McMillan. Ruth Murphy. Gracie Peters. Rebecca Rowell. Dean Sasser. Cassidy Scarborough. Kaylin Stallworth. Quintera Stanley. Gavin Tieco. Natalia Travis. Chris Williams. Jameis Baldwin. Ala Bishop. Jaron Blackman. Kinsley Bird. Jada Campbell. Layla Carter. Caitlin Commander. Arnesia Curry. Cameron Henry. Stevie Lane. Colin Pope. Hampton Skipper. Kendall Smith. Jasmine Sowers. Kristen Spinks. Destiny Thompson. Sierra Woods. Paige Young. Brody Anthony. Will Baggett. Raven Barber. Owen Blackman. Catherine Bridges. Brewer, excuse me. Catherine Brewer. Edward Bridges. Elena Castro. Jesus Chavez. Leah Dayhoff. Emily Evans. Kirsten Griner. Addie Thief. Harrington Hobbs. Ladea Jones. Emma Joyner. Serenity Mitchell. DeMarcus Streety. Cameron Taylor. Congratulations.
Each year, toward the, after the Christmas break, we come back in January, usually around the middle of February, end of February. I task each one of these fifth graders with writing an essay, and the title is What I Learned in Dare. And I told them that I wanted them to write one page. Of course, I had some people tell me that they couldn't write a page, and I gave them 2.5 months to write it, so go figure. So, but everybody got it done. But I wanted to make sure, as I read these, that I looked to see what they learned. You know, if they just stated facts, if they actually learned some good knowledge about drugs and alcohol abuse, about bullying. And we always try to pick out a few students each year. I won't say went over and above, because all these students did a wonderful job with their essays this year. Some will tell you just the fact that they wrote a page was an accomplishment for them. So, but they all did a good job. And these next are 4 students. Like I said, I picked these out, not based because some of them were more than a page, or some were typed, or some had pictures on them. I picked them out. The content was really good. And I want to recognize them in a minute. They didn't realize when I called them out of class today that they were going to have to read their essays in front of everybody. Hopefully they're okay in front of just their classmates. I told them it was not the whole school. So there's no particular order. The first one I'm going to call up is Rebecca Rowell. I'm going to let her co-read her.
This year I have learned a lot from Officer Madison. I have learned that what DARE means and about how drugs are bad for you. I have also learned that some drugs are good, like prescription drugs you get from the doctor. DARE stands for Drug Abuse Resistance Education. I have also learned that smoking can cause bad breath and yellow teeth. It is not legal for anyone to buy drugs regardless of their age. Most of the deaths that occur in the United States are caused by smoking. There are about 75,000 alcohol-related deaths each year. Alcohol is illegal for anyone under the age of 21. Alcohol affects teens more than adults because their bodies aren't fully developed. Effects of alcohol are loss of coordination, poor judgment, memory loss, loss of self-control, and slow reflexes. Alcohol affects the blood flow to the heart. Too much alcohol can lead to death. It can also damage all organs in the body. In the United States, it is illegal to sell tobacco to anyone under the age of 18. There are more than 200 known harmful chemicals in cigarette smoke. Cigarettes contain nicotine. Nicotine is a very powerful addictive substance. More than 400,000 Americans die from tobacco-related causes each year. Almost 50,000 deaths per year can be attributed to secondhand smoke. Overall, I've learned that nothing good comes from alcohol and illegal drugs. It is pretty easy to become addicted to these harmful substances. Being addicted to a harmful substance is a terrible way to live your life. Once you have become addicted to one of these harmful substances, it can be very difficult to stop using them. It can ruin a person's life completely. It is best to avoid these harmful substances altogether so that you don't become controlled by them.
Thank you, Ms. Rowell. Our next essay reader is going to be Kaylee Commander. You can do it. I think she didn't think I was serious about it. You can do it. There you go.
This year in DARE, Officer Madison has taught me many things about the harmful things that drugs can do to your body. The word drug means any substance other than food that affects how your mind and body work. Officer Madison explained how cigarettes, alcohol, and other drugs harm your body. Many people don't realize the bad things that drugs are doing to their bodies. I'm so glad that I got to take this class so that I don't make these bad decisions. One thing that I have learned is peer pressure. Saying no is one way to respond to peer pressure. Walking away is another way to deal with it. Peer pressure is something that many people deal with. I think that peer pressure is a horrible thing to deal with. The second thing that I have learned is that many people get bullied. Most of the time, people that witness bullying don't report it. That just makes it worse for the person being bullied. So if you see someone getting bullied, you should report it. Clearly, it is better to report bullying than letting it happen. The third thing that I have learned is that it is important to make responsible choices. Bad things can happen if you don't make the right choices. If you make a bad choice at a young age, it might come back to haunt you later in life. Making responsible choices is what gets you through life. So if you make a bad choice now, it will come back to get you. As an example, if you smoke, you get lung cancer, bad breath, and illness. Do you really want all that bad stuff to happen to you just because you made a responsible choice? In conclusion, this year there I have learned about peer pressure, bullying, responsible choices, and another thing that I've learned that Officer Madison cares about us, and he wants us to be safe. Officer Madison is a truly caring and nice person. So if you have DARE, then Officer Madison would be the best choice. If you take DARE, it will teach you about love and much more.
Our next essay reader is going to be Javeus Baldwin.
Officer Madison has taught us many things this year and year. One thing he has taught us is about alcohol. Another thing he has taught us is about tobacco. The last thing is what needs to. One thing Officer Madison has taught us this year and year is about alcohol. Alcohol is illegal for anyone under the age of 21. There are about 75,000 brain deaths each year in the U.S. Officer Madison has told us that most teen bodies are growing and alcohol messes with their growing. Alcohol slows down the brain, and another thing that I have learned this year and there is about tobacco. It is illegal to sell tobacco products to anyone under age 18, but in some states you have to be 19. There are more than 200 known harmful chemicals in cigarettes. Sadly, more than 400,000 Americans die each year from tobacco-related causes each year. Almost 50,000 deaths are due to alcohol because they are second causes. Smoking causes yellow teeth, bad breath, lung cancer, and death. Another thing that I learned is bullying. Bullying is an aggressive, unwanted behavior difficult to isolate, harm, or control another. There are different types of bullying. There is cyber, verbal, and physical. Usually the bully wants to bully in a kind of way. Why do they do that? Well, one reason is they want attention. If you just watch someone get bullied and don't do anything, that is a bystander. Maybe because they're afraid of the bully. In conclusion, Officer Madison doesn't teach us all this stuff to waste his time. He does it slowly, or no, not to drink alcohol or be a bully. That's what I learned this year.
And our final essay reader is going to be Elena Castro.
better in life? Kids who have DARE class learn about tobacco use, bullying, and alcohol use. DARE teaches these things so that kids won't get hurt, in trouble, or possibly arrested when older. I am writing this passage to tell kids and adults about drugs. My first reason is that DARE teaches us about tobacco and its effects. Tobacco is very harmful to the human body. In the U.S., it's illegal to sell tobacco products to anyone under the age 18, 19 in some states. Cigarettes are also practically tobacco. There are also more than 200 known harmful chemicals in cigarette smoke. Here are some facts about what tobacco can do to you. More than 400,000 Americans die from tobacco-related causes each year. Smoking causes heart disease and lung cancer as well. Chewing tobacco can cause mouth cancer, tooth loss, and other health problems. Smoking can cause yellow teeth and bad breath. Smoking can also cause dry skin and causes wrinkles. My second reason is that DARE teaches us about alcohol use. Alcohol is another harmful substance to the body. It can also cause many diseases and damage to your body. Here are some facts about alcohol. Alcohol is illegal to anyone under the age 21. There are 75,000 alcohol-related deaths each year in the U.S. Most teens don't drink alcohol. Alcohol mixed with medicine is very dangerous and may be deadly to the human body. Teen bodies are still growing, so drinking alcohol affects them more severely than adults. Alcohol is so dangerous that it slows down the brain and body, and its effects are loss of coordination, poor judgment, memory loss, loss of self-control, and slow reflexes. Alcohol also weakens the heart muscle. Too much alcohol can slow down the body and lead to coma and death. And when you drink alcohol, it goes directly into the bloodstream and can damage every organ in your body. My last reason is that DARE also teaches about bullying. Bullying is when one kid teases another kid, sometimes maybe insult them. Some kids get embarrassed or hurt when bullied, sometimes sad. DARE taught me that when you see bullying, try to stand up to the bully or tell a teacher about bullying. You can also say or shout a teacher is coming, or that somebody just went to go tell on you. I think that standing up to a bully is a great idea, and that you could also befriend the victim or make them feel better. In conclusion, DARE is a very helpful class to some kids. DARE teaches us about tobacco, alcohol, and bullying. Like I said, DARE teaches us these things so that we won't get hurt, in trouble, or possibly arrested later in life. I wrote this passage to tell kids and adults not to do drugs.
Done just a little bit earlier than we usually do on these programs, but I want to say again to my students, I wish I could have y'all next year again. Unfortunately, I got a new crop of 5th graders coming up, and I have to get ready for them, so my whole summer is going to be just, exciting, ready to get back in the swing of things. But if you guys ever need anything, just because you're not in DARE class anymore, you'll see me in the hallways next in the fall. Stop me in the hallway if you need something. Like I told you guys, if there's something on your mind that you would rather not speak around your friends, you let me know. I can meet you in the office. We can speak with Ms. Cade, Ms. Fuquay, Ms. Cole, whoever we need to. And always, if you see some activity that's going on, you know it's not right, or you see anybody bringing drugs into school, or weapons, or bullying anybody, the only way we can make it stop is if we tell somebody, okay? People think, oh, I don't want to snitch on somebody, but sometimes you may save somebody's life. And with that being said, I appreciate you guys. I hope that you have a great summer. Maybe I'll see you again before you get out of school. Thank you to my essay winners. Thank you to my mentors from high school. Thank you, Ms. Cade, Ms. Fuquay, and everybody at the police department. Thank you, Mr. Cole. And thank you, parents, for coming today. You're dismissed.